Maybe you got to visit a farm on an old school trip as a kid, or you remember singing the famous nursery rhyme about Old MacDonald. Either way, most of us have a pretty firm notion about what a farm is like and the animals that live there. But what if these ideas were turned on their head? What if farms exist that are home to a completely different menagerie of weird and wonderful animals? Prepare to have your mind boggled by these unusual farm animals. Number 10. Mangalitsa Pigs. Pigs are a farmyard staple, but what about ones that look like this? With its curly wool coat, it actually looks more like a sheep, but this is in fact the Mangalitsa pig, a mix of Hungarian pig breeds, European wild boar, and Serbian pig breeds. The Mangalitsa was first introduced in the 19th century. They became a popular breed as they both grew quickly and did not require any specialized care. Though numbers have decreased since then, in recent years, they've seen a resurgence in popularity, with around 60,000 Mangalitsa piglets born each year. Their meat has also caught the attention of restaurateurs, with chefs willing to pay top dollar to what is akin to premium Wagyu beef and fat which, quote, dissolves on your tongue. But it's not just their meat or woolly coats that make them so popular. According to an article by Modern Farmer, if you treat them nicely, they'll become as tame as dogs. They'll follow you and play with you. So much so that in recent times, people have begun to raise these pigs as pets as well as livestock. Number 9. Leeches. Now I know what you're thinking. Aren't leeches infamous for their use in bloodletting, that strange medieval medical practice? Well, before you laugh that idea off as useless, leeches are still used in modern medicine today. Amongst other things, they're capable of cleaning wounds and improving circulation in patients who have just undergone surgery. This is because their bite emits a super powerful anticoagulant, which can keep the patient's blood flowing for as long as 10 hours after the leech is fed from them. In surgeries which require delicate work with blood vessels, this can be the difference between a successful reattachment of a lost limb and surgical failure. This is where leech farms come in to produce large quantities of the creatures now officially known as medical devices. Biofarm, based in Wales, is the UK's only leech farm. But don't let that fool you. According to their website, they've been in business since 1812 and show no signs of slowing down. The farm produces 60,000 leeches for the European hospital market in an industry that is now worth £1 million annually. Number 8. Baby doll Southdown sheep. With their short, stumpy legs and teddy bear faces, which make them look like they're smiling, baby doll sheep may take the prize for the cutest animal on this list. The baby doll was bred in the USA to reflect an ancient breed of Southdown sheep which originated in Sussex, England in 1803. At only 18 to 24 inches tall when fully grown, baby dolls are easy for farmers to manage, and their soft fleece is desirable too. Another breed of sheep, which is small in stature but big in popularity, is the Faroese, which is even depicted on the Faroe Islands coat of arms. The breed naturally produces sheep in various colors, with at least 300 differently named combinations recorded. Their thick wool coats have come in useful over the years too. Jumpers made from Faroese wool were used to clothe the Danish army during the Napoleonic Wars.
If they don't pique your interest, then there's also the Najdee sheep, a highly sought-after breed. Popular with Saudi Arabian royalty, they have long straight wool and drooping ears. Their appearance has been celebrated in Saudi sheep beauty pageants, with rams of the breed often fetching hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Number 7. Miniature zebu cows. When you think of a cow, you probably wouldn't think of one that's only 3.5 feet tall when fully grown. But the miniature zebu is actually the world's oldest recorded cow breed, dating back to 3000 BC. It originated in southern India and Sri Lanka, where it is believed that its island lifestyle and closed environment contributed to the breed remaining small. But the zebu's popularity only started to grow back in 1991, when an International Miniature Zebu Association was set up. Nowadays, there are over 177 breeders of miniature zebus in the USA, with potentially many more worldwide. Among their top traits is their ability to withstand high temperatures, plus higher tolerance to insect attacks than European cows. In the farming world, they are mostly sought after because of their high yields in milk production. On average, they can produce a gallon of milk per day. Number 6. Miniature Hereford cows. What do you do when you own cows that have great traits but want to reduce their size to improve efficiency on your farm? Create a miniature version of the same cow through selective breeding, of course. This was the path of action for Russ Largent on his Texas farm in 1974, and they've spent the last 30 years cultivating a base herd of miniature Herefords. According to their website, the only difference between the miniatures and their full-size counterparts is height, with the miniature Hereford averaging 42 inches. Besides that, miniature Herefords are docile, produce good quality beef, and are commonly used as pets. On Nathan Nixon's farm in NSW, Australia, he credits their 4 miniature Herefords with helping his children practice farming skills. The Herefords are a lot easier to handle and a lot quieter, he says, and are perfect entertainment for his kids. I've heard about micro pigs becoming a trendy pet in recent years, but this is something else. Number 5. Silkworms. To this day, silk is a prized textile, but it all begins with one tiny creature, the silkworm. This means that sericulture, or the process of raising silkworms, is a highly profitable endeavor, but also very labor intensive. In this industry, the big players are China and India, who are responsible for the majority of the world's silk production. The process begins when a silk moth lays its eggs, which eventually hatch into larvae. The larvae are fattened with mulberry leaves until they become big enough to start spinning silk in cocoons. In the end, these farm animals have a relatively short life. After their silk work has been done, the farmers must kill the larvae by immersing them in hot water to release the silken threads intact. Otherwise, the crop is at risk. A single thread can stretch out to nearly 500 to 1,000 yards when unraveled from the cocoon. This is just the raw material though, and needs to be woven together with other such threads to create the final product. Number 4. Elephant Dung Farm. If you're a connoisseur of coffee, you'll want to pay attention to this one. That's because the Black Ivory Coffee Company in Thailand have a strange practice when it comes to harvesting their coffee beans. Marketed on their website as the world's rarest coffee, the beans are naturally refined by elephants. In other words, the elephants consume and digest the beans, which are later retrieved from the elephant's dung. Of course, the process includes multiple steps between elephant dung and finished product, such as the coffee beans being thoroughly washed by local high school students. The final coffee is said to be distinctive in flavor with notes of cacao, tobacco, grass, and red cherry. Understandably, there are setbacks in the harvest. Sometimes the beans are simply unrecoverable or have been bitten into by the elephant. Because of this, the company is only able to produce 120 kilograms of coffee per year. Perhaps due to its limited availability, the coffee is also one of the world's most expensive, served at luxury hotels for around $50 a cup. Number 3. Belgian Blue Muscle Cow. It may look like someone has gone a little heavy on the steroids, but this is a real breed of cow known as the Belgian Blue. This Belgian Blue is genetically predisposed to double muscling in its physique, which means that it has an increased number of muscle fibers. In other words, they have a supercharged ability to convert fat into lean muscle, much more so than most other breeds of cow. Because of this, Belgian Blue herds require a diet which is high in energy and protein. They are good for both meat and milk production, yielding around 20% more meat than other breeds. But a cow with big muscles isn't the only strange thing you can see on a cattle farm, as this picture proves. This is a cannulated cow. A cow that has been surgically fitted with a cannula. It's a device which allows vets to access the cow's digestive system for research and analytical purposes. One of the types of things it is used for is a forage analysis, which means that vets can see which foods are providing the best nutrient value for the cow. This allows them to create nutritional recommendations that can benefit livestock farmers worldwide. While it may look strange, the practice has actually been going on since the 1920s. Number 2. Bears. You may never have heard of bear bile, but it's a big business. In fact, the bear products industry is estimated to be as high as $2 billion. Bear bile is a digestive fluid that bears produce and has long been part of traditional Chinese medicine. But this isn't good news for the bears. Captured bears who are farmed for their bile are often kept in small cages, which restrict them from standing or sitting upright, or in some cases even turning around. The bile harvest is another concern for them, since a significant proportion of the bears die due to unskilled operations. Bears who are caught as cubs may be kept in captivity for up to 30 years, with the Asiatic black bear being the most common type used in farming. Although this practice has been widely condemned, even by Chinese physicians, today there are still an estimated 12,000 bears farmed for their bile. Before we get to number 1, here are 2 honorable mentions. First, the so-called mutant cow, which was born on a farm in Brazil in 2018. With 2 heads but only 1 brain, the local vet urged the farmers to either put the animal down or give it proper care for the rest of its life. Sadly, the animal passed away just hours later. Next up, a pig from Cuba who looked incredibly similar to a chimpanzee. Born in a litter of 8 piglets, this little creature was certainly the odd one out. Not only was he not pink like his siblings, he was born with only 1 eye in the middle of his head and facial features resembling a chimp. Number 1. Damascus goats. It's been called the world's ugliest animal, and it's easy to see why. This truly is a face only a mother could love. The internet was so disturbed by the image of this goat that it was called a goat monster when the original video from Egypt went viral in 2018. But its unique head and mouth shape have actually been praised by some, since the Damascus goat was the winner of a Most Beautiful Goat title in Riyadh in 2008. This is probably due to the huge difference in appearance between a juvenile Damascus goat, which could easily be considered cute, and a fully grown adult. But putting looks aside, the Damascus goat is popular for its hardy nature and its milk, which is now often found in gourmet cheese markets. As its name suggests, it was raised in the Middle East, where it's viewed as a noble creature, which just goes to show beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, would you raise any of these animals on your own farm? Are there any others that you think I should have added to this list? Let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.